Near the end of the workday, a sudden downpour descended without warning. As I watched my colleagues leave one by one, I decided to call a taxi. Just as I pulled out my phone, a message from my wife, Emily, popped up. "Emily, it's pouring. Wait for me at the office. I'll come pick you up." Me? Sure thing. I knew this was Emily's way of making amends. Last week, on her birthday, I'd taken the day off, booked a fancy restaurant, and planned to celebrate properly. But I waited until the restaurant closed, and Emily never showed up. On the taxi ride home, to pass the time, I scrolled through social media. To my shock, I saw an update from her assistant, Ryan. "Ryan, the boss is treating us to a celebration. Such a great day." The post was a group photo of Emily's subordinates. She and Ryan looked particularly close. When Emily finally got home at 1 a.m., I confronted her with the photo. "Today's your birthday. We'd agreed to have dinner together," I said. "David, stop making a big deal out of a birthday," she replied impatiently. "I'm not just your wife. I'm also the boss of a company. What's wrong with treating my employees when they hit their sales targets? If you have time to dwell on this nonsense, you should go to bed." Emily didn't even glance at the photo in my hand. She just walked past me, leaving me stunned. I silently deleted the saved pictures. If she didn't care about her own birthday, why should I? From that night on, we'd been in a cold war for a week. In the past, I'd always been the one to try and patch things up after a fight. But now, with Emily taking the initiative, I felt nothing. I simply replied with a curt "sure." The rain grew heavier, water splashing up from the ground. Even with my pants soaked, I still didn't see Emily. Disappointed, I called a taxi. While waiting, I saw Ryan's latest post. "Ryan, so lucky the boss gave me a ride home. Otherwise, I'd have been soaked." Below the post was a picture of a familiar car dashboard. On it was a doll, the one Emily and I had won together when we first met. Back then, Emily had strongly objected to putting it in the car, saying, "This thing isn't cute at all, and it's a safety hazard." But after I'd pleaded, she'd reluctantly agreed to let it stay. Thinking of this, I felt a strange sense of relief. I liked the post and commented, "So envious of having such an amazing boss." I knew Emily had broken her promise again. The ride-sharing app showed dozens of people ahead of me in the queue. Looking at my drenched pants, I canceled the order and walked into the rain with my umbrella. When I got home, Emily still wasn't back. Despite taking a shower and changing into dry clothes, I started feeling unwell. I fell asleep, but a rustling sound woke me up. It was Emily coming home. Maybe she hadn't expected me to go to bed without waiting for her. She stood by the bed, and I could feel her gaze on me, but I was too dizzy to care. After a while, she left the room, and I fell asleep again. The next day, I woke up feeling extremely dizzy. I didn't even notice the alarm clock ringing. It was only when I heard Emily's impatient sigh that I fully woke up. I had a fever, but I had an important meeting to chair. I had no choice but to drag myself to the office. At the company, a colleague noticed I wasn't feeling well and kindly brought me fever reducers. Just as I took the medicine, a message from Emily popped up. "Emily, are you mad?" Me, why would I be? Emily, but you didn't make breakfast for me today. Isn't that because you're angry? Me, no. I was in a rush this morning and just forgot. Since we got married, making breakfast every morning had become my habit, even during our cold wars, though Emily had never eaten it. But today, I really had been too rushed. Still, the way she spoke, as if she were ordering a servant, made me uncomfortable. I turned off my phone and headed into the meeting. The meeting dragged on until nearly quitting time. When I turned on my phone, I saw a message from Emily. "Emily, almost done for the day? I'll pick you up tonight, okay? I'll wait for you downstairs." After work, I stood downstairs, feeling dizzy, for half an hour, but Emily didn't show up. Just as I was about to leave on my own, she called. "David, are you off work?" she asked. "Yeah, I'm at the entrance, but I don't see you." I could hear the sound of her fingers tapping on the dashboard through the phone. She always did that when she was impatient. "How did your office change its exit?" "I'm at the entrance, but I don't see you either." "Are you at the Maple Building?" My hand tightened around the phone. The Maple Building was where I'd worked before. Our company had moved 6 months ago, and I'd even sent her the new address. I said, "I'll go home by myself. There are a lot of one-way streets here. It'll be a hassle for you to come." Emily was silent for a long time, then hung up. When I got home, she was sitting on the sofa, looking at the door. Since we got married, I'd always been the first to get home. Even when the dinner I'd made for her had gone cold, she still wouldn't be back. I used to complain, asking why she didn't tell me when she'd be late. She'd always give me a cold look and ignore me. "So, you can't eat without me? Do you want me to quit my job and just focus on you all day?" she'd say. But I waited so long, and the food got cold, I'd protest. "Just throw it away if it's cold. Do you really have to bother me with this?" After that, I'd stop complaining and just put her food in the warming drawer. I'd never imagined a scene where she'd be home before me. And what was even more unexpected was that she actually came towards me. Emily stood beside me, looking down like a guilty child. "I'm sorry. I've been so swamped lately. I wasn't thinking and went to the wrong place." "It's okay. I know you're busy at work. Yesterday, the team signed a big deal, and they insisted on celebrating, so I forgot you were waiting." "Yeah, I get it. You don't have to explain." Listening to her excuses, I just replied indifferently. In the past, I'd have been overjoyed if she'd explained like this, but now, I felt nothing, not even a twinge of annoyance. "Are you angry?" "No." "Then why do you still seem so distant? You didn't make breakfast, and now you're giving me the cold shoulder." That's clearly anger. I suddenly thought she was being unreasonable. This wasn't the first time we'd had this kind of argument. In the past, she'd just stand there, watching me coldly, like I was a joke. Looking back, I must have been a nuisance to her, which was probably why she'd stayed out so late. But I wasn't angry now, so why was she acting so panicked? I walked past her, just like she used to do to me. "If there's nothing else, I'm going to take a shower." "I haven't showered either. Why don't we shower together?" "No, I don't feel well. I need to rest." After showering, I brushed off her attempts to get close and went straight to bed. As soon as I closed the door, I heard the front door open and close. She'd gone out again. Was this the start of another Cold War? I didn't care. I turned on the shower and let the warm water wash over me. Before, I'd always been anxious to end our Cold Wars, trying all kinds of tricks. I'd pretend to send the wrong message or post something on social media, hoping she'd notice. But she'd never cared. Now, I felt a strange sense of peace. I didn't have to worry about cooking for her, since she never ate it anyway. Since we'd gotten married, I'd focused so much on Emily that I'd lost myself. Every day, I'd send her messages, asking if she'd eaten, sharing my day, even though she rarely replied. Emily was gone for several days again. I checked Ryan's social media, and as expected, they'd been spending a lot of time together. This time, they'd gone on a business trip. The photos showed Emily smiling brightly, happier than I'd ever seen her with me. Before, seeing these pictures would have driven me crazy. I'd call her, demanding answers, and she'd always have an excuse. Eventually, she'd stopped explaining and just walked out. But now, I just liked each post one by one. Because of the successful meeting I'd led, the company was considering promoting me. The new position was in another city. At first, I was hesitant, but now, I'd made up my mind. I needed to get away. When I left work, I saw Emily at the office entrance. I tried to avoid her, but she blocked my way. "David, I was in the area on business, so I thought I'd pick you up." "Sure." I nodded, not looking at her. When I opened the passenger door, I saw Ryan sitting there. "Long time no see. I was out discussing business with Emily, and she's giving me a ride home. You don't mind, do you?" Ryan said. "Why would I? It's just business." I smiled at him, then opened the back door and got in. Emily, who got in last, seemed a bit flustered. Ryan wasn't feeling well, so I let him sit in the front. "Car sickness is common. You don't have to explain." I looked at her calmly, and she quickly looked away. I used to be proud to sit in the passenger seat, but now, it didn't matter to me. Sitting next to Emily, Ryan started chatting about work. I didn't listen or want to join in. I just closed my eyes. But Ryan wasn't going to leave me alone. "David, why didn't you come to Emily's birthday party at the office?" I didn't know there was a party. I was too busy that day to even remember it was her birthday. I glanced at Emily in the rearview mirror. She looked uncomfortable. Ryan pretended to be shocked. "But you've been married for years. How could you forget?" "Ryan, stop talking. You're distracting me," Emily snapped. Ryan shrank back and didn't say anything else to me. I just smiled and closed my eyes again. Ryan thought I'd forgotten her birthday, but he didn't know I remembered every important date related to Emily. When we got home, I went to the kitchen and made a bowl of noodles. When Emily saw me with just one bowl, her expression froze. "You only made one serving? What about mine? You ate while you were out, didn't you? Are you still hungry?" I asked, feigning confusion. She seemed at a loss for words. I ignored her and sat down to eat. She awkwardly sat across from me, looking like she wanted to say something. Before, I'd have asked what was wrong, but now, I just wanted to eat in peace. Seeing I wasn't going to talk to her, she finally spoke. I remember you were waiting for me that day, but it was my birthday, and the team wanted to celebrate. I forgot to tell you. Let's not talk about it. It's in the past. I don't care. Her eyes widened in surprise, because that was exactly what she used to say to me. I remembered the last time I'd confronted her about Ryan. She'd lost her temper, yelling, "Ryan is just my assistant. Why do you keep bringing this up? You're so annoying." That had led to our longest Cold War. I quickly finished my noodles. Then, I took out the divorce agreement I'd had a lawyer prepare and put it in front of her. She just glanced at it and sneered. "David, what's this? Are you throwing another tantrum about divorce? Grow up. This isn't a game." She didn't even look at the contents and just swept it off the table. I picked it up and handed it to her again. This time, I'm serious. Her face darkened. She stood up and slammed her hand on the agreement. "Why do you always have to make such a big deal out of things? What do you want?" I just looked at her silently. I knew if I said anything, we'd start yelling at each other. She gave me a cold look and stormed out. I didn't care where she went. I put the agreement in her study and started looking at apartments near my new job. That night, Emily didn't come home. I was actually glad for the quiet. The next day, after work, I saw her again at the office entrance. I got in the back seat out of habit. Her expression was strange. "You're sitting in the back? You're driving. It doesn't matter where I sit. Then come sit in the front." I shrugged and moved to the passenger seat. As soon as I sat down, I felt something hard poking me. I picked it up and saw it was a watch. Emily's face turned pale. "That must be Ryan's. He's always losing things. It looks expensive. Don't forget to give it back." I handed it to her. She blurted out, "There's nothing between Ryan and me. You have to believe me. He's just a subordinate, and he catches rides with me for work." "Emily, you don't have to explain. I don't care." Her eyes widened in disbelief. From that day on, she seemed to have more free time. She'd pick me up from work every day, but every day, I'd leave the signed divorce agreement out, and she'd pretend not to see it. I wasn't in a hurry. I knew it was only a matter of time. One weekend, I left early to look at apartments in the new city. As soon as I got off the train, Emily called. "David, where are you?" "I'm working overtime." "What's up?" I lied instinctively. "I'm downstairs at your office, and there's no one here." Her voice sounded almost panicked. I was silent for a moment. Then I said, "I've been sent on a business trip. Of course you won't see me. I have to go meet a client." I hung up before she could say anything. In the past, she'd used the same excuse on me countless times. When I got home, Emily was there. "Why didn't you tell me you were going on a business trip? You went to another city without saying anything. I'm an adult. I don't need to report my every move to you." I couldn't help but laugh, remembering how she'd gone on a month-long business trip without a word. I'd called, and she hadn't answered. When she finally called back, she'd snapped. "It's just a business trip. Stop trying to control me." She grabbed my arm, but before she could say anything, her phone rang. I could feel her hand tremble. She let go of me to answer it. "Emily, I have a fever. Can you take me to the hospital?" It was Ryan's weak voice. Emily looked at me, then at the phone, clearly torn. I forced a smile and said, "He needs help. If you want to go, just go. It's miserable having a fever." "David, I'm sorry. Before, when you weren't feeling well. Just go. He's waiting." I didn't want to hear her excuses. She stared at me, reaching out, but I stepped back. This time, her hand dropped to her side. "I'll come home for dinner tonight," she said. I didn't respond. After she left, I went to bed. When I woke up at 7 p.m., I made dinner for two as usual, but she didn't come back. This time, I didn't wait. I ate my share, cleaned up, and then checked social media. Surprisingly, there was no update from Ryan. Usually, when they were together, he'd post something. Maybe he really was that sick. I didn't stay up waiting for Emily. I just went to bed and watched videos. The next day at work, I got a flood of messages from Emily. It was like I used to do to her. I replied to one, and she called immediately. "David, I wanted to come home last night, but Ryan was really sick, so I get it. It's normal to take care of someone who's ill. Don't worry about it." I hung up as I got out of the taxi. Near the end of the workday, she messaged again. "There's a company party tonight. Are you free?" I was shocked. She'd never invited me to her company events before. It's just my colleagues. What would you do there? She'd said in the past when I'd begged to go. Now that she was inviting me, I wasn't interested. I have no reason to go. Besides, I'm having dinner with colleagues tonight. Which colleagues? Female ones. Colleagues from my project. You don't know them. I turned off my phone. The conversation felt familiar. I remembered when Ryan had first joined the company. During a team building event, I'd called Emily, and I'd heard a man's voice in the background. She'd gotten angry at my questions, yelling, "It's just a new subordinate. Why do you care so much? I'm the boss. It's normal for people to call me." She'd even told Ryan, "It's just a salesperson bothering me." Now, she was asking me the same questions, and I was giving her the same answers. There are both men and women. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. They're waiting for me. Okay, but don't drink too much. I'll pick you up later. Her voice was soft and gentle, a tone I hadn't heard in a long time. The party was to celebrate my promotion. Everyone was happy, and I had a few drinks. When I stepped out to get some fresh air, I saw a familiar figure. It was Emily. Was her company's party also held here? Before I could hide, she spotted me and walked over, looking surprised and happy. "David, you said you had plans. Did you come here for me?" Before I could reply, my colleagues came out and pulled me back inside. "Just an acquaintance. We ran into each other," I said. Since we were getting divorced soon, there was no need to explain. As I went back in, I glanced back. Emily looked disappointed. Had she expected me to introduce her? The thought quickly disappeared in the lively atmosphere of the party. My gathering ended soon. I messaged Emily, "I'm done. How about you? Wait for me. I'll be there shortly. I'll go home. A colleague is giving me a ride. Have fun." I'd heard her excuses too many times to believe her now. In the car, I silenced my phone and watched the messages pile up. When I got home, I put the divorce agreement on the table and waited for her. When Emily came in, she smiled seeing me, but the smile faded when she saw the agreement. "After all these days, you should know I'm serious. Let's sign it today. Do we really have to end it like this? Can't we work things out?" She approached me with a sad smile. I didn't answer, just looked at her. Suddenly, she rushed forward and hugged me tightly. "David, I don't want a divorce. I'll delete Ryan's number right now. Please, let's stay together." "It's over, Emily. You knew what you were doing. I gave you chances, but you kept hurting me. My love for you is gone. It's not just about him. We have too many problems." I gently pushed her away and handed her the agreement. Her hand shook as she took it. Then she tore it into pieces, threw them on the floor, and stomped on them. "I won't divorce you. I promise I'll treat you better. Don't do this." I watched silently. I'd been like this once, and all I got was her coldness. Now I understood. When you don't love someone anymore, nothing they do matters. "Emily, it's the best for both of us. I've accepted the transfer. I'm leaving for another city in a few days." "Another city? I have business there too. I'll go with you." She looked at me desperately. I shook my head. "It's over between us." The next day, we got divorced. I moved to the new city. On my first workday, I saw Emily at the company entrance. She leaned against her car, watching me. I nodded as a greeting. In the following days, she'd show up at my work hours, just to catch a glimpse of me. Colleagues asked, "Is that your ex-girlfriend?" I didn't answer, avoiding her gaze. One evening, as I got home, Emily called. "David, have you eaten? Let's have dinner together." "How do you know I haven't? You used to cook at 7. I know you haven't eaten yet." There was a hint of triumph in her voice. I laughed. "I'm cooking. You find your own dinner." "David, I'm new here. I don't know any good places. Can I? No. If that's all, I'm hanging up." She went silent, and I ended the call. The next morning, I saw her messages from the previous night. "David, I think I have a fever. Can you take me to the hospital? I'm downstairs." I replied, "You're an adult. Get some medicine or go to the hospital." Then I focused on work. At the end of the day, a colleague asked, "Where's your admirer today?" I realized Emily hadn't messaged or shown up. I thought she'd finally given up. But then Ryan called. "David, Emily had a car accident. Can you come take care of her? It's close to your office. She's not a child. She can hire a nurse. I'm not her caregiver." I hung up. In the past, I'd have rushed to her side at the slightest sign of trouble, but she'd always brushed me off. Right after, Emily called, her voice weak. "David, can you come see me? We're divorced. I have work. You can handle it. Just stay with me for a while, as a friend." After divorce, we can't be friends. I hung up again. A few days later, Emily appeared downstairs, her hand bandaged. When she saw me, she ran over. David, are you free for dinner today? Emily, I've made my stance clear. Stop this. She reached out to grab me, but I moved away. Her hand dropped, and the light in her eyes faded. David, today is our 5th wedding anniversary. You've forgotten. I thought for a moment. It was blurry. Before, I'd remember every date related to her. Maybe I was too busy, or I'd chosen to forget. We're divorced. It doesn't matter anymore. Please, just this once. For old time's sake. Her voice was pleading, eyes full of hope. I have an appointment. I'm going to change and leave. Am I less important than your colleagues now? Emily, I have a new life. You should move on too. Suddenly, she hugged me tightly. David, forgive me. I fired Ryan. I won't contact him again. For all the years we've been together, give me another chance. Emily, don't you see? It wasn't just about him. Even without him, there would have been others. I truly don't care about your relationship with him now. I smiled faintly. She froze, then slowly let go, looking at me, searching for any sign of hope. Finally, tears filled her eyes, and she lowered her head. She knew it was over. Goodbye, Emily. I turned and walked away, ready to embrace my new beginning.